when I come into your life, I will shake you upside down so that you remember who you are supposed to be. I don't like people forgetting who they are supposed to be. As in, God called you to be something different. And you are here stuck in something different. And you're not seeing that you are stuck. And even if you see that you are stuck, and even if you see that you are stuck, you are paralyzed, you're not doing anything about it, and you're looking at other people progressing, and you're starting to think, maybe it's because of this, or it's because of that, the attributing that she was talking about, instead of taking responsibility and saying that, you know what, I was created as a single person. God did not do a mass production. No, he did not. We were not produced like dolls in a factory. That God, someone was patching on an ear and another one patching on an ear and another one put a mouth. So some people have small lips and others have. No, it was not a mass production. You were intended to be on earth for such a time as this. And you carry a purpose. You carry a very heavy purpose that you can only fulfill if you reclaim some things that were stolen from you. Because when we talk about reclaiming, she explained, I will not explain about reclaiming, that means it was yours. You were created with this blueprint of greatness. This blueprint, the confident you. This blueprint, the one that does wonders, the one that speaks things into existence, the one, and everything I am going to say is going to hinge around certain things, but the power, the authority, and the dominion to be able to live, to execute the kind of life that we are supposed to execute. Sometimes I think God gets miserable. He has a giant screen on which he watches us, and he is thinking, dude or girl, like, you have a fine future. A fine future where you lack nothing. A fine future where you are living life on your own terms. Not even on your own terms, but on godly terms. I don't want to live life on my own terms if they are godly terms. Because godly terms are abundance. And not just life, but life in abundance. But he sees you wake up every day to distractions. He sees you waking up every day to procrastination. He sees you waking up every day to self-sabotage. He sees you waking up every day to laziness. He sees you waking up every day to wasting your own life. And some of us, we have even gone ahead to think that, you know, when I get to 30, you know, akategera kalabika weka kuja. Not uka 30. Akategera nekagende daddala. Wanje? Nekagana. Yes. And this applies to all of us, by the way. I'm not just talking to you. We don't talk about some of these things. Some of these conversations, we don't have them with people. You can see people on panels. Ayambadde bulungi, a tailor-made jacket, asazeeko bulungi, and you look. That's why I usually say, teweegomba abantu. Ali biza asazeeko aye akute gadgets aineno simanyi MacBook Pro aineno bichimu nkwawa awamba gatanya atambula yenna Yesu likati ayogera ebintu nga byamaanyi naye nga bwogenda in her secret life she lives a life of self-sabotage. They are the ones that out there, they will tell you, oh, don't do this, you know, men are this, you know what, agwera wa muloji nga akonkona kasajja. Yes. Ng'ekyobuntu naye kyamulya. So I don't want you to look at people talking about great things and you're thinking, oh my God. You get it? Harness the lessons that you can harness. Take the lessons that you can take. And let God do a work in you that you will be great in your generation. And you will be great in an authentic way. Why? Because you went a step by step. Reclaiming, she said, is an ability. Ability, she said, is an active word. Reclaiming is not for the weak. It's not for? You remember David, after his home had been, everything had been taken, and he's asking the priest, should I chase? Like, should I go? You get it? He's thinking, these are my things. They have been taken. And I need to run after them. That means there is no time. Because The more you delay, the further it goes. Do we agree? Yes. The more you delay, the further it goes. Because the older you get, the more ntondorous you become. Obantondofu. Yes. So the things you should have pursued when you are younger and you're not thinking about anything. You know, when you're in your 20s, you're like a butterfly. You're running around, you know, making reckless decisions, bumping into people. But when you are 30, before you make a decision, you first sit down and think. But guess what? Sometimes the fear that gripped you now won't allow you to do even any useful thing. Any useful thing. Why? Because you lost something. But I want us to measure on the pain of not reclaiming. The pain. So that you will understand. I want to draw a clear picture of what your life is going to look like 2 years from now, 3 years from now. So that you will know, when you get to that pain, you will remember Coach Bahati, and you will some kazoli mulogo. Yayogere ebintu bituukiride, but guess what? We have the power to change. Because the power has been given to us. The power has been given to us. When you look at the definition of power, it is the force or to allow compliance. As in, if I want money, I know what to do in order to get money, right? So I have the power to make money. How many of us know that we have the power to make money, but we are not making money? Yeah, raise your hand. You know you have the power to make money, but you and your heart, you sat down and had a meeting, and you decided, we are not making this money, but we need it so badly, but we are not willing. And when you put it like that, it sounds weird. But again, when you look at the real situation, it feels like that is what we have done, right? It feels like we are betraying ourselves. And then we expect other people to be loyal. Isn't that double standard? We betray ourselves, but we expect other people to be loyal. We disrespect ourselves, but we expect other people to respect us. We don't love ourselves, but we expect other people to love ourselves. Munanga atenjagala nga bwe ndi tebaluyimba. Kati batuwa engombo. Batwagale nga bwe tuli. Yeah? Let me tell you, when you live a life that is not reclaimed, that means you have accepted what has been handed to you. All the, what should I call it? The principalities. Yeah? All the bondage. You just allow it and receive it. And you sit in it. And then you also start giving excuses about that bondage. I don't come from a rich family, Mama. The people that came from a rich family, Mama, you get it. Now you're giving an excuse. Why? Because you don't want to do what you know you are supposed to do. Otherwise, if you knew what you were supposed to do, do you know the people that know what they're supposed to do and they're willing to do it? Half the time they are quiet. They execute silently. They don't go asking for people's sympathy. They sit down and they draw a map and they're like, you know what? This is what we are going to do. We are not going to settle for less than what God intended. We are not going to settle for less money. We are not going to settle for less everything, relationship. We are not going to settle for any less. If there's something bigger, that is what I want, even if it means I take long. What does Habakkuk say? That write your vision. That even if it tarries, it will surely come. So, let's start. With number one, I just want us to define some of these things before we go on, so that when I use them, at least we know what we mean. When you talk about dominion, is the right to govern, the sovereign control, or the legitimacy. You are a legitimate controller. God put that into your hands, that you can control things, by the way. Okay? That is dominion, the power to rule over everything. When your mother told you, Ebitayogera tebirema yogera. She meant it. That is the dominion she meant. That you can rule over money, you can rule over relationships, you can rule over your lifestyle, you can rule over your spiritual alignment, you can rule over everything. But guess what? We live in cowardice just like Gideon did, right? I'm from a small family, I'm from a small clan, you know, Wololo, we are going to die, you know, I think those people are just lying. I think whoever is motivating us is motivating us to not to lie to us. Maybe for them they got it, but maybe for us we will not get it. And the moment you think like that, your mind is already captivated. So what you need to reclaim is the freedom. That, you know what, I deserve the freedom to think as I wish. I deserve the freedom to dream about the monies that I want. Some of us have limited ourselves to certain monies, and you're like, I can only make so much. Because that is what other people are making. And even if we take the time to get the skill to even get to what we want to get, we, in the middle somewhere, we get discouraged. Do you know why coaching, counseling, and people helping will never run out of business in this world? It's because naturally people will self-sabotage. Otherwise, if every time you had the motivation, you went and did whatever you need to do, that means everyone will be healing, yeah, recovering. That means we would have been speaking to healed people and you would have been telling us, shut up already. We have the money that you're talking about. Shut up. We have the relationship that you're talking. We have the thriving marriages. Please don't talk about them anymore. You talked about them 3 years ago. We worked on them, so now we are fine. But let me tell you, someone can hear the same message every day for the next 20 years. Omwana ow'okubula asigala nga wakola ki? But it is so sad. Until you wake up and you shake off the dust and you're like, no, this is not the end of me. This story cannot end minus God's glory being manifested in my life. This story, how? It can't end. It's not going to end. I'm not going to die and go into the books of poverty, and so and so was poor. No. I am going to be here, cultivate the land, dominate. I have the power. I have the authority. I am going to do everything in my power to leave my children's children with inheritance. How many of us are saying, you're going to leave your children's children with inheritance? That starts now. It doesn't start tomorrow. It doesn't start when you have children. It starts now. By reclaiming everything. So we said reclaiming takes power and energy. She said it takes awareness so that you don't throw your bullets into the dark. You know that, by the way, what I want is confidence. What I want is fearlessness. What I want is the bravery, the boldness. What I want is being deliberately selfish and not bowing down to people's opinions and deciding that this is the kind of life that I want to live. Other than that, we are doomed. So, pain number 1. She talked about it. You live false identity for the rest of your life. Just imagine, false identity. I have seen people, and I keep seeing people. Whenever I travel, whenever I move anywhere, like I be scanning around, and you can see people living identities that are not theirs. As in, they look around, they feel like they don't fit, they feel like they are out of place. Like, why? Because they have been told they are less than, or they have told themselves they are less than, and they have rehearsed it all their lives. They have labeled themselves. Because of culture, because of trauma. So what, I mean, yes, you were raped. Yeah? Right? That is the situation. But the perspective, when you take it and you remain with the perspective of, I am this, and this is who I am forever, forever, it is going to haunt you and it is going to remain there. But it can be a story that you use to heal so many other people. It can be a story that rises the holy anger in you, and you say, you know what, I am going to stand up for others that are going through trauma, that need healing, that are nursing wounds that they cannot tell others. I am going to stand in this authority. I will pray for them. I will talk to them. I will go to school. Do you see that? The enemy is not afraid of your silence. He's afraid of your sound. The moment you give it sound, He's like, okay, she's roaring now. We need to keep her quiet. And let me tell you, the quieter he keeps you, the more silent he keeps you, the louder you erupt. Why? Because you're like, no, not anymore. You kept me in captivity for long, not anymore. Not today, devil. Get behind me. Do not even just get behind me. Go to the bottomless pit. That is where you belong. So do we see the identity, how it can be stolen? The relationships, the heartbreaks, the betrayal, the everything. You think you are less than. So, in scripture, it says that a man thinks in his heart, as a man thinks in his, so are you. Whatever you've been thinking about, what have you been thinking about? Nze lavenda wabwe. Mama nze byonsobola no bituukako. Nze byonsobola no bikola ki. Please come and borrow radical faith from me. Yeah? Because the louder the devil whispers to me, the louder I actually shout. Because ndino musanikira. No, this is not. So every time, even when I'm alone, don't you should never think that you're the one fighting. This is a spiritual warfare that we are in. But I must win against all odds. So if I must win against all odds, I'm going to be mad sometimes. So you will find me speaking to myself. No, that's not going to happen. But I'm not talking to any human being. I'm talking to myself and I'm talking to the enemy. I'm like, no, even if you plant a seed of doubt in me, it is not taking root. It is dying. Today, it has withered. It has withered. And when you see me walking out, I be like I'm coming from a private jet. Kumbe, the battle I was fighting is life and death. Okay? So, that identity, I need you to reclaim like your life depends on it. Because your life depends on it. If you think you are free, you are free. I was in a certain boardroom today, negotiating a certain deal. And in my heart of hearts, you know when you get to a place where you're mentioning big money and they are looking at you and they are thinking and they are laughing and they are thinking, wow. And they are fellow ladies. They are thinking, wow, how did we get here? How many millions are we talking about? And then in me, like I was smiling. I was like, my life does not depend on this deal. Whether it goes through or it doesn't go through, my life is okay because God has ordained my life to be okay. Because I know the dimensions of God. I know that He is Jehovah Rapha and He is my provider. I know He's Jehovah Nisi. He lifts a banner to show that He reigns in my life. So I am catered for. But not just about prayer and belief. No, there is execution, my friend. I work so hard. I work both hard and smart because both of them have time. All right? And then I was like, okay, think about it. When you get to a conclusion, we are going to talk to our bosses. I was like, yes, talk to them. When you think about it, you will call me. Got my handbag with my car key and got back into my car, drove away. And in my heart of hearts, I'm like, I wish every woman can live this freedom. There are certain freedoms I move in, and I'm like, I wish every woman can live this freedom. And sometimes when I hold my daughter, that's what I pray for her. I don't pray for her the normal things of let her go to school, God give her a good man, God again give her a good job, God her give, No, that's not what I am praying for. I'm praying that she will move in this world like it belongs to her. With the freedom that God has guaranteed her. If I have known God and I have set certain foundations, there are things my child will never see. And there are things your child will never see. But do you know that we are going to pass on trauma? We are going to pass on dead legacies to our children because we did not reclaim what was rightfully ours? Because you lived without confidence. So you accepted everything and you took people's opinions and you bent backwards. You accepted everything you were not supposed to accept and you said yes where you were not supposed to say yes. So you passed down trauma. Do we want to do that? We don't want to do that. So let's run very quickly. I want to give you everything that I have tonight. All right? So that is living with a false identity. And I'm giving you homework. Go and look for, where am I living under a false identity? Where am I living under a false identity? Who have I called myself? Who have people called me? Because some of us have been shamed even because of our bodies. I grew up as a big body girl. And I remember at some point I told you, one of my uncles wanted to marry me off. I was like, you're breaking with school fees, and yet she can get married and we can get dowry. For him, that is all he saw. And so, by the way, instead of taking offense, of course, so, for your information, but instead of me saying, oh, they said I am a big body, so I can go away just giving out myself and what? I was saying, not on my watch. Guess what? I locked the door for every man that ever came into my life. And I was like, by the time I get married, I must have been able to set a foundation for myself, because I'm not going to rely on any man. If a man is coming into my life, that is a bonus. That is a God-given man that we are supposed to build together. That is not a man that I am supposed to be begging. That is not a man that I'm supposed to be depending on. He should depend on me, and I depend on him, for where our strengths and our weaknesses come, and we should build an empire together. And so, to this day, some people find me, the ones that tried to pursue me, they look at me and they are like, and I'm like, you know, you don't even bother. But they're like, yeah? So, but that's the thing. Some of us, we have mothers that brought us up in the knowledge of God. Yeah? And those mothers did a great job. But I want you, as a parent of today, I want you to go back and check yourself. Are you bringing your children up in the knowledge of God? In the true knowledge of God. Not in the God that they know on YouTube. In the true knowledge of God. The identity. Because my roots were, if God does not deliver me, there is nothing else I have in the world. So it's either God or God. And so everything I read in the Bible for me was true. Everything was true. If he said I'm the head, indeed I am the head. I don't believe anything else. And let me tell you, that is how my life has been. From one level to another. I don't believe less. Even if a setback comes, it has come, I'm like, I'm not seeing. I don't know whether some of you have reached that level. Coach Molly? And some of us need to get to that level. That even when a setback comes, you laugh instead of crying. You sleep over it. You even go and eat your best meal. Yeah? So, false identity number 2. Your voice remains silent forever. Your voice remains silent forever. With all the gifts you have inside of you. With the calling that you have inside of you. And guess what? While your voice is silenced forever, there are so many people that are dying on your account. There are so many people that you would have helped that are still in their jails. There are people that are not going to listen to my voice, and they are going to listen to Coach Mole. They are not going to listen to Coach Mole. They will listen to Coach Anita. They will listen to Coach Lavender. They will listen to Coach Rashida. As in, your voice is so important. And some of you are like, when I sit down, I have so many important things to speak. But when I open my mouth, the important things evaporate. They evaporate. Why? Fear is choking on you. And then when they tell you to create content, you're like, I will be writing my scripts. And then when I take a camera, and then I start saying things that I don't mean. And then I start saying things that I don't understand. And then I delete the video, or I keep it in my gallery forever. Why? Fear is holding you. But until when? Until when? Ask yourself that. Some of us are even quiet. By the way, when the devil silences you, he will silence you towards your man. Yeah? For most of you are ladies, he will silence you towards your man. He will do all the bad things, but you'll be like, I don't want to shake this boat. Let me just remain the obedient wife. He will silence you to your children. Your children will rule over you. They will say things that they want, and you don't have a say over whether they should want them or not. Some of you housemaids are the wives in the homes. Yes. Tomugambako. Why? Because nawe mukama we wetya. Yeah? Bwolowooza okumugambako n'ogamba kati bwe namugambako nanyiigira. Yes, there are women here who are like that. Bwe mugambako nanyiigira. Wanji? But ayinza ogenda, as in they are holding you at ransom and you have accepted. I know. You need to reclaim your voice. And not reclaiming your voice by being rude, but reclaim, because anyone that reclaims their voice, they reclaim with authority, with power, and people with authority and power and dominancy are people that are respectful, are people that are polite, are people, there is no one that holds power that is shrewd. Bosanga omuntu ngali mbuyinza ng'aleekaana, manya weebuusi. Manya waliwo kimubulako. If you find someone who holds, they are the manager, but they are shouting at you, just know they don't deserve the position. They feel less than, so they compensate by shouting. But when you know you are in authority, you rebuke with love. You give feedback with love. You correct with love. Why? Because these are people that are working under you. You need them as much as they need you, right? You actually need them more because they're the executors. So, your voice, I don't think that you want your voice to be silenced forever. That this world, when you die, they will even forget that you ever existed. I want you to live a life that is so gigantic that when you are no more in the right time that God has called you to glory, that everyone will know that there existed a woman that was untouchable, that was unshakable, a woman that changed her generation, a woman that changed the teens. Whether your jurisdiction is in healing, whether it's in with the teens, whether it's with the wives, whether it's in your corporate place, in your career, make sure that you practice your power and authority and dominance. Okay? You want to be forgotten? Totally forgotten on the face of the earth that you ever existed? No. You want to be remembered in people's homes. I don't know how many people have told me that when I pray, I don't know you, but when I pray for you. Do you know how that feels? That you know what? I have never had a session with you, but I have followed you and my life has changed. So your voice deserves to be heard. Let's go to number 3. The dreams die in the graveyard of delay. Your dreams, the dreams of that business that you wanted to do, the dreams of that house that you wanted to build, the dream of that car that you wanted to buy, whatever dream it is, of the kind of money that you wanted to have, of the kind of relationship you wanted to have with God. Just imagine. Some of us have dreams, but we get to some ages and we start bargaining with our dreams. We are like, I think there I was setting myself so high, but now I think this is enough. It's like when you set yourself up and you're like, God, you write all the American heights, simanyi big chest, simanyi what, tall what, and then you get to 30 and you're like, God, I think this list is, sorry? Height, it's okay, it can go. Anyone. And then maybe you had stipulated income brackets and you're like, God, income brackets no longer matter. Yes. And then some people get to 40 and they're like, I just don't mind, like anything, God. A man, yes, for as long as he is. And then you get married to that man and you get frustrated. On your wedding, you think, mbakubye equalizer. Ani gwo kubye equalizer? Where kubye equalizer? Why? Because yogenda kuberera munaku yote bagenda kubayo. When they want to kiss you and you're taking away your mouth, they are not going to be there. But you said a man. And indeed God brought a man. Isn't he a man? He's a man. Yeah? So the dreams, we start bargaining on the dreams. Let me tell you, until your dying breath, never bargain on your dreams. Everything you dream about, everything you have seen anyone else achieve, it is achievable. It is achievable. Maybe for you not now, but that means you need to get to working. You need to get to doing something that can bring that dream close into manifestation. You want that company? It is possible. You can open a company. You want to start going into corporate spaces? Some of you have limited yourself. You want to start going into corporate spaces? Tailor-make a program that actually gives them value. Yeah? And then give them a tease of that program. Tell them, I can come and do this free of charge. I can come and do this free of charge. But whenever you're doing it free of charge, take videos, take photos. Yeah? And while you post them, others are thinking, wow, I think she's delivering a lot of value. We also need her. So as you're doing the free services, their paid services are also coming. And as I'm talking about it, some of you are thinking, it's possible. But after you leave here, there is some thing that is going to grip your thoughts there. And you're like, you think that the people that we admire, the people that you admire, some of them were even worse. What did they do to get to where they got? Yeah? So they had dreams, number one, but they did not let their dreams die. Nor did they let their dreams delay. Yeah? When the dreams delayed, they got to a place and said, enough is enough. And they said, I'm taking this bull by the horn. Yeah? So I'm going to do everything in my power. I'm going to invest in myself. I'm going to go out there. And this thing that we usually say, I just didn't feel like it. I felt demotivated. Kale, I just felt like this week had a lot of things. Like how many of us give ourselves those excuses? Like there was a lot going on. But when you ask a lot going on, your ex called you on Monday and ruined the whole week. It got ruined. Oh, a baby daddy. Oh, you saw someone's wedding and you went into the comment section and some people say, but why me, Lord? I am also here. And you're also thinking, yes, we are in the same bracket. I am here. And now you think about how do the dreams get delayed? We dwell on things that we have no control over, and we leave the things that we have control over. You have control over the life that you can live right now, the lifestyle, the kind of money that you can make right now. You have no control over what kind of man comes into your life, whether he will love you or not love you, whether he will respect you or not respect you. You don't have control over that. But guess what? When you practice your purpose and you are rightly positioned, the right person is going to come into your life. Because when the wrong person comes into your life, you will be confident enough to say no. You will be confident enough to say, even if you were the last man on earth, to be very cool. Never gamba I've ever done it. And until today, they hate me. Yeah? I was like, even if you are that, of course, nachogeza busungu, nabuto. But I meant it. Because the person wanted to prove a point. People who want to prove a point that, there's something that is happening between me and her. I was like, hey, let's call a meeting. Let's call a meeting with all the concerned people. And they didn't know that I had called the meeting. So, yeah, I called the meeting where he was staying. And then I was like, now I want you to get this into your mind. Even if you're the last person on earth, the last man on earth, it will never happen. But I wanted to drive my point home. Don't go tainting my name because you have fantasies. Stay with your fantasies and keep quiet with your fantasies. So that if your fantasies don't come true, you're not ashamed. So you want to get ashamed and you want to shame me as well? No, I'm not going down like that. All right? So we don't want our dreams to die. But Proverbs 13:12 says that hope deferred makes the heart sick. When we delay our dreams, no one is delaying us. Sometimes we attack the devil for no good reason. And we bind the spirit of delay. And we bind the spirit of stagnation. And we bind and we bind and we bind. But the spirit is not there. We are the spirit. So are we binding ourselves? Because we are not doing anything about it, right? If you are doing let me tell you, you have a full license to pray those prayers when you're doing something about it. When you are in execution mode, and you're lobbying for that deal, and you have made the necessary paperwork, and they are dilly-dallying. You're like, God, I send angelic forces into those offices. That manager is not going to settle until they read my name, until they read my file. You know, the spirit of delay and stagnation that is going to make the files money get lost. You know, people smuggle files out of offices because they have their own people that they want to get the tenders or something like that. So you're like, you know what? And then that maybe manager will have looked at your name once, and maybe one day he's looking for those files, and he was like, but I'm not seeing Regina's name here. And yet I had seen Regina's file here. And he will call for that. He was like, until Regina's file is here, I am not looking through all these documents. They will go to the dustbin where they got it from. They will hibernate it to get it out of hibernation from their computers where they hid it. And then they will come even shaking, Madam, finally, I got it. Why? Because the God of heaven, the God of vengeance, is going to have their hand on them. That is a person that is in motion. That is a person that is executing. And let me tell you, God is going to send angels on your behalf. But if you are sleeping and eating and folding your hands, you are binding yourself. You are the devil in your own life. Even the devil is, by the way, I think sometimes if the devil is besides you and he's looking at you while you're saying, I bind you, he's saying, the blood of Jesus. He said, hey, whoa, this woman wants to send me back to hell, and yet I have nothing to do with her situation. No. It's like a woman who is binding the spirit of what? Of barrenness, and yet she's not married. What are you binding exactly? Wanji? You don't have a man? You want to give back to baby Jesus? You think that miracle is going to repeat itself? You have to be in execution mode. Even the song says, I'll be somewhere, working, I'll be somewhere, working, I'll be somewhere, working for my Lord. Aha, bamumuganye, mulinzeka wait. You will not be somewhere waiting. Because sometimes as we wait on God, he's waiting on us. He's waiting on us to take a move so that he can bless the works of our hands. Your hands have not done anything, but you're expecting a blessing. He knows you are a creator. He knows you're innovative. He knows you have he knows that the reason that's why we can't lie to God is he's the one who created us. And it's like if Bahati can come from deep poverty, come somersaulting, and break dancing and moonwalking until where she is right now, clearly you can moonwalk. Whether backwards or forward, you can moonwalk. Start moonwalking. Someone doesn't know moonwalking. Let's go on. You remember that I just remembered something on that point of delay, that delayed dreams. You remember the children of Israel? 40 years. 40 years. And many of them never entered the promised land. But what was the delay? Because they had a lot of Egypt in them. And so he's thinking, I must rinse and squeeze until it is no more. I don't want to take this seed into the promised land. You remember what they said about themselves? That they were like, we looked like grasshoppers before those giants. You know, those giants have 6 fingers. You know, do you know the story of Goliath? The story of Goliath? Some of you maybe, the Bible leaves out Goliath and how he was born. Goliath was born between a fallen angel and a woman. A real normal woman, a fallen angel. So it was an angel who impregnated a normal human being. And she gave birth to these giants that stayed in the woods because they could not be accommodated anywhere. And so as they were fighting the kingdoms and kingdoms, one kingdom remembered there are giants that live in the woods. Let me go and get the mercenaries so that they can come and assassinate the whole army of Israel. But as he was there, because he called for the king, but when he called for the king, You guys should go and watch, what is it called? When I remember it, I will tell you. When he called for the king fell down and even got sick. He calls for the champion is like, ha, I am going to die. The moment I set foot there, I am going to die. And like a small boy with stones comes to come and deliver food. And he's saying, I want your greatness to be felt everywhere you go. Everywhere you go. When David got there, like a small boy from a woman that was not even the marital woman in a home, the one that was forgotten and was keeping the sheep, he's there and he's thinking, who is this man that is blaspheming? Like, he believed in the sovereignty of God so much that he was like, you don't have powers to talk about my God like that. No, not the God that I know. So whether I die, I'm going to fight you. And with a single stone. With a single stone. All right, let's go to the next. You inherit cycles instead of breakthroughs, and you pass on cycles instead of breakthroughs. Some of us have inherited the cycles. Yeah? We're still talking about reclaiming. And we're talking about the life you will live if you do not reclaim, if you do not repossess and say, I am the confident me now. I am not going to settle. Now, I am fearless. Now, some of these things, we speak them into existence, and then we act them into existence, and we do the things that permit them to actually happen into our lives. But just imagine when you are passing on what you refuse to reclaim, your children will inherit limitation. Your children will inherit limitation. Is that, I don't think any mother would want that of their child. You would want your child, even right now, you would want your child, some of you overpack for your children when they're going to school, like you overcompensate. When you want to buy them gadgets, you buy them more gadgets. When you want to do, like I want to take them here, I want to take them there, I want to take them here. So you don't want them to even face any kind of pain. The thing is, if you're not doing the right things that they're supposed to look at because they observe, they don't listen. While you are timid and you're telling them you must be powerful, you think they are listening to being powerful and to being fearless? They are looking at you as a coward, and so they think the best thing is to be a coward. That's why I usually tell women that stay in narcissistic and toxic relationships, especially where there is beating, yeah? And you're staying and you're like, but I have nowhere to go. What you're telling that little girl is, whenever things are like this, stay. Yeah? So whatever you refuse to reclaim, that means you are in the first line of breaking generational curses. Generational curses of poverty, generational curses of lack of confidence, generational curses of even vivid spirits, real spirits. You're the one sleeping, everything is chasing you. Oh, the heads of cows, the what? As in ever, those are your dreams. Snakes are chasing you, things are chasing you. And you're thinking your child is going to be free? No. They're not going to be free. Because what attacked you wants fresh blood. The devil usually wants fresh blood, by the way. That's why they will sing the songs like Kakanyomo Nyomo. Because the devil is meaning that if after killing you, I will get a hold of another one. Do you know the song Kakanyomo Nyomo? You don't, you've never heard it. Someone has heard it in this room clearly. What do they sing? Yes. If you despise me, the demon or the spirit, and I reside in your house or in your body, when I kill you, I will get a hold of another one. So now just imagine a whole generation that is wasted because there is someone that refused to claim their freedom. That refuse to claim their freedom from anything, separate themselves from any principalities, from any bloodline kind of following, from anything, and decided to start new structures and set up an altar in your home and teach your children godly ways That is a person that wants freedom and is passing on the torch of freedom to their children. They're telling them, if it wasn't for God, we would not be here. So when you lack anything, God is your everything. All right? So you inherit the cycles. And, you remember how Abraham lied about Sarah? Isaac repeated the same thing. Like, it's a cycle. It's going on and on. And if it gets to you, it's possible that you are the 4th generation or the 5th generation, but now for you, you're starting another generation. Whatever it is that gets a hold of you goes until your 4th generation. So that means not only your children, but your grandchildren are going to suffer, and your grandchildren's grandchildren are going to suffer. Why? Because there is a woman that just did not understand the times and the seasons, that they hold the key to their whole lineage to live a free life. You hold the key. You hold the power. So you decide how you want to live. All right? Some of us are going to remain in survival modes. That's the next one. Survival modes for the rest of our lives. Akasente tekamala. Banange tukasike tukastretching. Banange tukagaziye kamale bogira kilo y'ennyama goyagala gisavinga abantu abiri. Bokola chi. Those times have existed in our lives, okay? But that should not be forever. Wanji? It should not be forever. Where you're in survival mode all the time. And some of you, let me tell you, there are different types of people. There are people in survival mode. They do not give a damn. Have you seen them? Hey. They're on cloud 9. Like, they don't know that they have a problem. They don't. Sorry? Actually, there are more people. You look at them and you're like, and then there are those that know that they're in survival, but they hate survival. Yeah? Now, they hate the survival. There are those that hate the survival, but they're not doing anything about it. So they're continuing in survival. And guess what? Survival goes lower every time. It does not, no, because if you still earn the same money, 2 years from now, it will not have the same value. 5 years from now, it will not have the same value. So that means everything is coming down. Your confidence is coming down. Your value is coming down until you are totally shattered. Beba tuwosanganga, amapesa aga black, agatunzeko white. Na ya atambula, ali okay. Pesa lya pink alitunzeko red. Ate banamugambira kowa. Ennaku ekwata abantu ne bakwatira ddala obwongo ne bufufugaza ne bulema. Abantu abamu their brains are upside down. And for you that is in a better place, that is a prayer request for you. And to know that you still have a lot of work. A lot of work. When you're dealing with these women, don't think you're dealing with women and they're all on equal footing. There are those that are tired of where they are, but they can't do anything about it. They have suffered from paralysis for a very long time, and nothing is shifting in their end. There is the last group, and which I think we all belong to that group if you are here. The last group that knows, I was not created for survival. Survival is just for a time. Just like crying and tears may exist for a night, but joy comes in the morning. And my morning is going to come. But the thing is, the morning is not going to come just like the day happens and we are in the morning. We are participators and we are partners into what God is doing in our lives. So if we don't do our part, that means we leave him with no chance to even do anything about it. For how long are you going to live in survival mode? Looking for coins for transport, these are things that happen to normal human beings, right? But I want you to get to a time and say, no. This is not the kind of life that I am supposed to live. I told you, I am a perfect example. I said at one point, I will never be broken and broke ever in my life. And let me tell you, ovanga kusala gyosabanga kuliko na amaziga. Ngokabanga omwana omuto. And you're like, no, this is not my portion. But the following day, I'll say, I will arise and do something about it. Remember the prodigal son? He's eating with the swine, and he's thinking, but my father's servants are eating food and they're sleeping in fresh beds. Even if I am the worst person on earth, at least he can take me in as his servant. Maybe let him not take me as his son, but let me go back and be one of his servants. At least I will have food to eat and I will have a place to stay. But the Bible says, I will arise. I will go back to my father. He didn't just sit and wished and said, I just wish this swine food can turn into human food. I wish this stone can turn into mandazi. I just wish my father one day he will remember that he has a son and he comes looking for me when he has no address where you are. Do you see the wishful thinking we usually have? Now, a person that is living in wishful thinking does not reclaim. We said we must have awareness. Awareness is an awakening of, I have woken up. What has been happening? Hey, baby tea? Yes. There are people that wake up, by the way, to their survival mode. And they're like, you know what? No more. Some situations come to us as a wake-up call. Yeah? Come to us as a wake-up call. That day, umwana akulwaliridde, you don't have any money. You were counting on baby daddy or your husband. He is far or he is unreachable. And for you, you were called, you have the calling or the anointing of being a princess and being cared for. Yeah, I'm a princess. I mean, ebyange katonda yabigonza. Kale mama. Ebibyo katonda yabikolachi. He created you as a suitable helper. There is no helper that is weak. No helper is weak. A helper is supposed to be stronger than the person he helps. So where your home is going through turmoil, financial turmoil, oyina okubayo n'omusuwa wangi, oyina okubayo n'akagga akatakalira, ate ng'oli mukazi wa magezi, bwe bazikusaba nga zakugula soda ng'omagamba oyo tetujja munywa. Ng'obagamba yes, omukazi ow'amagezi, you build your home. And you don't build your home on luxuries or living in cloud nine. You live on reality and you're like, right now, we are surviving. So we are going to have 100 kilos of beans and we are going to have 100 kilos of posho and 100 kilos of rice. So let's see, let's cut budgets. Why? Because webiri kati byakola ki byakufungiza. That is awareness. That is a person that is reclaiming that no child of man is going to sleep hungry. No, not on my watch. Not even my husband. Even when he's going through a hard situation, he's going to dress up, he will go to salon and cut his hair, and he's going to look like the priest of this house. And after you've gone through the fire, because and some of you are like, and then no mala no bimukolera, no mala no kolachi, no mala no mala. Hey, I know you have those things in your head. A person that reclaims is not a person that thinks about negativity. Is not a person that absorbs about every negative thing that is being said on social media. Twakulakula na fenna ate na mala na andeka kale gwe yakuleka kati katulinde munangi wanje. Why should you like what a tortoise? Everything you fear, you go back into your shell. You go back into your shell. So now instead of feeding your children, you're also deciding not to feed your children. Omwami bwaswala ni aswala wanje. And God put you in his life as a manager. So you do everything and you're like, you know what? We are in survival right now, but any woman's head, asula atunula, nga asaba atenga bwayiya. Where do I go to get a job? What business do I need to start? Yeah? Who are my friends? 5 friends that I can confide in, that I can be able to share my thoughts with so that I can get counsel of wisdom. And then before you know it, a business has started. Before you know it, it has become a family legacy. And now you are passing on a legacy to your children's children. There are some women that started in very hard situations. But those hard situations were wake-up calls. All right? So we are not supposed to live a life existing and not living. No, we are not supposed to live that. Okay? He has come that we will have life and life in its abundance. Let's talk about your potential. A life that is not reclaimed or does not reclaim the rightful kind of living lives under buried potential. You have potential, you know it, that's the problem. You know the potential, the people that see you see the potential, but the potential is buried. There is no productive thing that comes out of you. Nothing. And guess what? To know that you have so much potential, you have multi-talents. So this is what you do. You hold on multiple projects. You do this, you jump onto that. And then you jump onto that, and then you jump onto that. And just like they see your brilliance, and they're like, oh my God, we can't do without her. And then all of a sudden, you self-sabotage. Some of you, you know yourselves. You know that you would not be here if you did everything that you knew how to do. Everything that you knew how to do. When you are a leader, you are a very good leader. Yeah? When you speak so well. When you counsel people, you counsel so well. When you clean spaces, you clean them, and when you cook, my goodness, no one will admire to eat Serena food. But buried potential, because you did not. Do you know that some potentials, some productivity, we reclaim it. We're like, you know what? This is too good to live, just die like that. So let me do something about it. My love for hair cannot just die like that. My love for cosmetics cannot just die like that. My love for fashion cannot just die like that. If I am not going to tailor, then I'm going to be an image consultant. Because every time I'm seeing people, I'm seeing something wrong. There are people whose bums are protruding and they are putting on wrongly. There are people have body shapes and they are not putting. So, like for you, it's a problem. God is trying to scream to you that this is something that you can do as a profession. Do you know how much money you would make from people who are going for photo shoots? You're like, what image do you want? I want, what is the perception that your brand wants to relay? I want to be this corporate woman, an authoritative woman, a go-to person in my industry, a thought leader. And she's like, okay, so this is what we are going to do for your wardrobe. There are people in this town who do that. I know Solomon. Some of you know Solomon. He does it for a living. Costume. He started with wardrobe, and now all of a sudden he went into, and he's not the one sewing. He takes to a tailor and he tells them that, you know what? Sheba is going to have a show, and this is the image. Sits with them as like, what image do you want? I want to portray a woman of power. I want to look like Beyonce. I want to do this and this. They sit down with someone. Don't think that they're the ones who sit down and they go and then that person goes and tailor makes that attire. Do you know how much that attire will cost at the end of the day? It will cost more than 5 million. But guess what? The material they bought was less than 100,000. Less than 100,000 or even 150. Magezi, that he positioned himself, he networked, ngataba vamu, until he actually dressed one person recommended him to another, and now he has become an industry sensation.